This is assembly lube. All right, it's made by Audis, which is a brake company. And we're gonna use it to... Old guy here, hope you're having a good day. If you're getting some info out of my channel and it's helping you in any way, I'd appreciate a subscribe or a like. So a little while back, I ran a video showing you where you can buy caliper repair kits, basically out of Europe if you're running European cars. But it's not just European cars. They also, like I said in the video, they have Japanese cars and cars you've never even heard of. So I've got these kits. So I figured it was about time that I rebuild a caliper. So today it's just a simple caliper. It's a single piston caliper, not a rear, just a front. So it's not that difficult to do. And we're going to go up to the bench and I'm going to show you how to take it apart and put one back together. Okay, this is our single piston caliper we're going to rebuild. Just a single piston. This one happens to be a Girling G54. So we're going to take it apart and then we're going to rebuild one. Anyway, let's get started. So first of all, we need to separate the caliper from the carrier. Now, these bolts are reusable. Some kits come with them, some kits don't. If you looked at my kits, you don't necessarily need them. So you've got your carrier, all right? And we need to take out the bleeder valve. You need to take out, this is what I use when I want to keep them from leaking. I just take a piece of cut off hose, stick a screw in it, and that way it doesn't leak. And now we want to, actually, I made a mistake there. We need to leave the bleeder valve in because the best way to get this piston out is to use air pressure. So we want to take a piece of cardboard, we want to stick it in here, or a piece of wood, doesn't matter. But the idea is that it doesn't, the piston doesn't come out and bang again here, possibly damaging the piston. So, got to turn it on, I guess. So I got a little air compressor I use up near the bench. You can see it in the picture I've got. You hear that pop? That means it's out. So our piston's out. We got to take off this boot. Then there's a little O-ring in here for the bore seal. And you got our piston and our caliper. Next up, we need to take off the guide pins. So they just kind of pull off because we're going to be replacing these boots. Well, that grease is kind of solidified a little bit. Take off the boots. Just kind of wipe this up for now. I'll put it in a, I'll clean it up with cleaner or whatever. Brake cleaner. So we've got our carrier and it's done. So piston, carrier, caliper, and it's all apart. Real simple to take apart, at least this one is. And we're going to replace the boots. We're going to replace this. We won't replace the guide pins. We may replace the bolts, but we're also going to paint this caliper before we put it back together. This is not the same caliper I took apart a little bit ago. It's a match, but it's the opposite side of the car. I went ahead and took it apart, cleaned it up, put it through a evaporust bath, cleaned it off with brake cleaner, and spray canned it. If you want to see how I painted this, I've got a video on how to set up a little platform for painting these calipers. Now, the first thing you do is, see, you can get these plugs too. I use a plug in there when I paint it. I use a plug here. I use a plug here. You can buy these plugs in various sizes from, that got dirty. You don't want a dirty caliper. You can get them from Ace Hardware in various sizes. This is assembly lube. All right, it's made by Audis, which is a brake company. And we're going to use it to coat the inside of the bore. I've coated this already, so I don't need a whole lot. That's why I didn't put much on there. And we kind of coat the piston a little bit. Makes it easier to slide in and out. So first off, what we're going to do is we need to put in this O-ring, which fits in the second groove in this caliper. Is it easy to do? Yeah, it's all right. Make sure you get it in there. Sometimes when you get one side in, the other side wants to slip out. Okay, so that's in. Now we need to do the piston. So we're going to, let's see, this is the piece that fits inside the second edge in the bore. So that needs to go down. Oh, we'll put it on like this. That way we make sure it's down, okay? Now this part gets tricky. There's various things online on how to do this. I just kind of fight it, kind of keep the boot a little bit below the piston. It'd be a lot easier if all this part wasn't in the way, which makes it a little more difficult. But you can get it. You try to put in the backside first, and then you check around. Oh, that didn't get in. Okay. Now that side's in. This side's in. Let's see, are we? Let's see. No, backside's not in. So we'll have to play with it a little more. Let's see what we can do here. We'll try to put the backside in first. Like I said, it's not easy. There's some videos online that show you how to do this. It's probably better than the way I'm showing you. Then you kind of start it in the bore. You check the backside. We're good right here. Seals in. And then you kind of have to, now my hands aren't very strong anymore. So this is not easy for me to do. Sometimes that goes in like that did, but other times you might have a problem. If you have a little bit of a problem, you can use this brake piece and you can stick it in the bore. This is if you have a problem getting it in, okay? I know this is for pushing it back in, and it works whether it's on the car, off the car. You try and get it lined up in the center of your piston. And you can tell when it starts to get tight, okay? So this is, in addition, sometimes you can find this hard to do, and you turn it and it pushes the piston in. When you don't have a lot of strength in your hands like me. So this makes it a little bit easier. Let's call this a little bit of a tech tip, okay? And that's pretty good. You want it about level with it. And you just undo it. So now we got our piston in, okay? Got a little bit of paint gone in there in the middle. And now we want to put in our guide pins. Now, I don't have the strength anymore in my fingers to slide this boot up onto the clip up here. Looks like this without the boot. So what I do is I take, this is a 12mm socket. As you can see, it lines up real well on there. And you spray a little silicone sealant in there. And then you just, not sealant, but silicone guide. And boom, it's on, okay? That makes it real easy. Then you take some, I use molybdenum disulfide grease, and you grease the sides of this, of the guide pins. You don't want any on the bottom, otherwise it acts like a, it's hard to get in. And then you have to work that seal around, which is not easy either. Okay, so that one's in. So now we lube up the other one. Pull back the boot a little bit. I used molybdenum disulfide grease. You could probably use a synthetic if you want to. Again, you press in as far as you can, and you get one edge started, if you can. Damn fingers just don't work like they used to. This used to be real easy, okay? There's a rally car I used to rebuild brakes for, and they were this particular brake. But they don't make it. Okay, I'm having a hell of a time here. Now the other one went on real easy. I wonder why this one's fighting me. Boom. Damn, we got it. That's okay. So we're going to be using some new bolts. Okay, I bought a kit that came with bolts. I usually don't, but this one did. So now we got to put things together. So you can put the caliper on here. You notice how easy those guides move back and forth? Very nice. Get them started. You always start them by hand. That way you make sure they're threaded properly. And the inside bolt right here is a 17 millimeter. No, is it 17? No, this one's a 15. Let's see, 15, 15, 15. Here we go, 15, 15. All right, so that's a 15. And you run it up. Of course, that's good. You don't want to get it so you can't get the wrench out, right? Besides, it's got to go in the car, so it shouldn't be all the way up anyway. Okay, so we put our bleeder valve back in. Now, one thing I like to do is, if you watch my other video, I got a video on this. I use anti-seize at the top part of my bleeder valves, staying away from the hole down there at the bottom. I do the same thing when I'm putting the hose on. So after it's on the car, you want to put a little anti-seize around the top threads. This way down the road, if you ever have to, change a brake hose, or you have to, especially on the bleeder valve, you're going to do the bleed the brakes. You're going to want that anti-seize on there, okay? Got our little cap. And basically, our caliper is done. Everything looks good. Seal's good. New seal, new boots, new bolts, and we're done. This is how I rebuild the caliper. If you've got a better way, that's good. Anyway, these are my thoughts. This is what I did. You don't have to.